As the war between Russia and Ukraine continues to rage for the fourth year, Russia has restarted a strategic goal of its military operation, which is the destruction of the bridges over the Dnieper River of Ukraine. The Dnieper River effectively divides Ukraine in half, passing through some of its largest cities like Kiev, Dnipro, Zaporizhia, and Kherson. It also is an artery that divides the battlefield of Ukraine, that is, the Donbass and the southern regions from the rest of Ukraine, and from its logistics and from all the equipment that comes from the west. So, therefore, severing this artery would give Russia a huge advantage on the battlefield. However, until this day, there have only been a few attacks targeting the bridges over the Dnieper, which are considered to be very robust and to withhold strongly even to various missile strikes or drone strikes. Previously, in 2022, Russia had tried targeting some of these bridges. For example, the Zaporizhia Bridge and a number of bridges, as the Cherkasy Dam and another bridge near the city of Dnipro. However, only the Cherkasy Bridge was managed to put out of order for a long period of time. In fact, the railway crossing of this bridge is still inactive to this day. However, the roads are still open to cross from one side of the bridge to another. In Ukraine in total, there are 16 automobile bridges and 11 railway bridges across the Dnieper which are still intact. Many of these are bridges that have both functions at once. Some of them were destroyed due to ongoing battles, for example, the Antonov Bridge in Kherson, which I did not count. The news is that Russia just a few days ago targeted the Kryukiv Bridge, which is located in the city of Kremenchuk in central Ukraine, and hosts a railway as well as an automobile passage all at once. It also has an elevating mechanism to make ships pass through or under the bridge. This mechanism was damaged from the night from the 6th of September to the 7th of September, when the bridge was attacked by two Geran 2 drones during the massed attack, which was carried out by Russia with more than 800 Geran drones and approximately 15 missiles that hit targets all over Ukraine. As a result, it appears that the automobile part of the bridge is still intact, since it has been reopened to traffic, therefore not getting very badly damaged. However, the railway section is still out of order, and the Ukrainian railways have announced that replacement buses will be circulating for a while, at least for the next few days. So overall, we can say that we can see this effort to try and target Ukraine's bridges might lead to another escalation, and in case of success, a painful loss to Ukraine in its assets and in its infrastructure that could cost them a lot in the war. As an example, the strategy of destroying bridges has been deployed by NATO in 1999 when they bombed Yugoslavia, or what was remaining of it, namely Serbia and Montenegro. Over the course of this campaign, NATO bombed all the bridges across the Danube, and it had to actually try various times to successfully knock the bridges down. An example of this is the Liberty Bridge in Novi Sad, which was then rebuilt and reopened in 2005. The campaign started in the beginning of April, and by June, Serbia had basically surrendered. Seeing from this example, it will be interesting to see if in the next of its drone swarm attacks, Russia will be trying to target these bridges, and with what weapons, perhaps with Geran drones, many of them, or whether Russia will deploy Iskander missiles or even heavier missiles. It's also to note that Ukraine has tried to destroy some of the bridges that are essential for Russia's logistics. The Chongar Bridge, and most famously the Crimean Bridge, which was badly damaged twice. The most notable strike was in October of 2022, when a truck bomb was made to explode on the bridge and led to months-long repairs along the bridge. This was organized and coordinated by the Security Bureau of Ukraine. The Chongar Bridge was struck by Storm Shadow missiles during the course of the attempted Ukrainian counteroffensive of 2023. The Chongar Bridge connects the Kherson region to the Crimean Peninsula, therefore being very, very important for Russian logistics. But anyways, this damage was not enormous, since the bridge was reopened to traffic just 9 days after the second strike. Seeing as even these strikes, conducted in part with Western weapons, were not exactly successful, the reluctance of Russia to pursue such an ambitious operational goal seems rational. But the tactic could change, and we could see a Russian mass attack on these types of infrastructures as the war does not seem to end or to get less violent.